I've spent the last month or so testing out a ton of cases for iPads, and good news, you don't have to, because I've put together a quick guide to the best cases around for lots of different functions. Whether you're a minimalist, accident prone, style conscious, a digital artist, or just wanting something that gives your iPad decent keyboard functionality without breaking the budget, yeah, I've got you covered. Now, before we get started, a very quick spoiler warning. You are not going to find any Apple products in this video, apart from the iPad, of course. Now, I've tried all the Apple branded cases, including the Folio case and the Magic Keyboard, and just no, I cannot recommend them. The simple fact is there are better, cheaper alternatives to all of Apple's options available. Just as an example, you could drop 79 quid on this basic Smart Folio from Apple, or 18.99 on this one from ESR. It's made from the same material, it serves the same function, and even though it's 4 times the price, the Apple one doesn't even stop your pencil from falling off. And please, don't get me started on the Apple Magic Keyboard. I bought the new one last year to try out, but I sold it in the end, as every time I looked at it, it just sat there offending me with its ridiculous price tag. Plus, I found a better alternative, which I'm going to show you in a bit. Now, this first one isn't really a case, but there is something to be said for just letting an iPad look like an iPad, and this one is about as minimalist as it gets. This is one of the many skins on offer from dbrand. This one on the iPad Pro is called Sea Breeze, and the one that I have on the iPad Mini is called Dead Quarters. And even when I'm going to put a more protective case on my iPad, I almost always put on a skin because it adds a little bit of extra grip, and it also protects the iPad from occasional scratches and scuffs and dirt that can get underneath some of these harder cases. And that means when it's time to upgrade, you can always maximize your trade-in value with something that should look nearly new when you peel these things off. Plus, they add loads of personality to your iPad, which is always fun to do. Now, if you are going to go with a nearly naked iPad like this one, I would strongly recommend slapping on a screen protector to prevent anything horrible happening to your precious tablet screen. And even then, the combination of a screen protector and skin is not going to save your iPad from a fall, so my strong advice would be to go with one of these next options that I'm about to show you. Now, my next recommendation is from a brand called Grams 28. This is a premium leather brand that are best known for their backpacks and briefcases, and this is their 106 leather folio. And if you're all about keeping it minimal and luxury, yeah, this is the way to go. A fair warning, this one is quite pricey, but this thing is crafted out of the most premium, sustainably sourced Italian leather. And as soon as you take it out of the packaging, it just oozes quality. It smells incredible, and it feels, well, like you would imagine the finest Napa leather should feel. It's also surprisingly roomy too, with space for a few other accessories like your phone and AirPods, and also it can fit in a keyboard or keyboard case too. But I'm a fan of just keeping it simple by slipping in my iPad, an Apple Pencil, and going about my business. Speaking of business, if you're off to an important work meeting and you want to impress the people you're seeing, this is about as executive as it gets. Sheer, unapologetic quality. And next up is a really balanced halfway house between offering some good protection together with maintaining the ultra slim profile of these latest iPads. Now, I looked at some of the more rugged iPad cases from the likes of Zugu and Otterbox, and to be honest, unless you're a complete clown and you're constantly dropping your expensive Apple tablet, I just don't think it's worth it to have the trade-off in terms of aesthetics. To me, these do not look good at all, and they add so much bulk that you might as well be carrying around a laptop with you. This one, on the other hand, gives you full protection all round and manages to look pretty stylish too. This is the new bumper case from my friends at Paperlike, who are also sponsoring this video. And with this case, you get a rubber shield which snaps onto your iPad, plus a folio style design to protect your screen when it's not in use. Now, the thing I like best about this is the fabric style material that they've wrapped around the front cover and the back panel, and that makes it seem almost like you're holding a really nice book. It also makes it super easy to carry, and yeah, it even has a flap to keep hold of that slippery little Apple Pencil, and it holds it tight even if you're wearing one of Paperlike's chunky pencil grips, which is something that other cases just can't do. Now, you can fold out the cover for different uses, whether you want to prop it up for reading or watching content, or a little lower profile to you if you want to use it for drawing or writing. And while you're at it, you might as well pick up a Paperlike screen protector for your iPad. A bit like the skins that I mentioned earlier, for me, this is a day one install whenever I unbox a new iPad. iPad. I think by now everyone should know that if you're wanting to use your iPad for drawing or note-taking, Paperlike is a must-buy to give you that all-important resistance and drag and that tactile feedback when you're using an Apple Pencil, so it feels a lot more like writing on a nice notebook. But what a lot of people don't know is that Paperlike also mattifies your screen and it kills off reflections without losing brightness or clarity, even on this iPad Pro's super bright screen. So, you could spend $100 crisp or Great British pounds on Apple's permanently attached nano texture glass, or less than half that on a pack of 2 Paperlike screen protectors which do exactly the same thing. Yeah, I know what I'd do. You can find a link to a Paperlike to fit any iPad model over here or in the description, folks, and don't forget to check out their bundle offers too if, like me, you like to pimp up your Apple Pencil Pro. Let me tell you, that is a tongue twister that will take a lot of practice. Next up, we have a case which is designed to showcase the iPad's best hidden feature, in my opinion, which is as a companion display to another device like a desktop Mac or a MacBook laptop. And this next case always reminds me of one of my favorite jokes. Are you ready? So I used to know this guy who had a shop that sold origami, but things just didn't work out for him. And sadly, the business folded. Yeah, I know. I'm really, really sorry. Anyway, this is a folding case from Moft called the Float Folio case. And yeah, it's like origami, except it's not made out of paper. And unlike some other folio cases that I tested out, it doesn't use magnets, which I think is a good thing. I never quite trust them. Your iPad actually sits in this clip-on case, which offers tons of protection and loads of peace of mind. This 11-inch version is in the Misty Cove colorway, although there are a few to choose from. And you also get a little holster to keep your Apple Pencil from flying off, which is also helpful. Now, the pencil holder is also detachable if needs be, which is also a pretty cool feature. But the big party trick here is being able to hold your iPad in a variety of different positions depending on how you fold this panel. There's focus mode, drawing or sketching mode, and then this elevated floating mode, which places your iPad much higher up than you'd normally find. So it's a really good height to double up as a portable workstation along with a keyboard, or even sit alongside a screen or laptop as a second display. And then finally, if you're the sort of person who likes to pretend that an iPad is an effective laptop replacement, well, I've got a really good option for you to look at. This is the Rebound Case 360 from ESR. It's a keyboard case with a few tricks up its sleeve, and it absolutely hammers the Apple Magic Keyboard in all areas. First of all, on price, it's almost a third of the price of Apple's offering. Secondly, in terms of safety, it's actually in 2 parts. There's a removable snap-on case that attaches to the keyboard magnetically, and this gives you loads of protection whether you're using the keyboard or not. That's obviously not the case with Apple's keyboard, which leaves your iPad exposed all the way around. And then in terms of features, you get that magnetic connectivity, that really nice quality backlit keyboard and trackpad, complete with gestures, plus the ability to run it in both landscape and portrait mode, which is pretty cool. Now, in terms of downsides, it doesn't use the iPad connector, so it does run off Bluetooth. That might bother some people, but I found it was absolutely fine as a compromise. And because of that connection method, it does run off a battery, which lasts for 3 months for daytime use, or about a week if you're running the backlights all the time. It's also a little bit heavier than Apple's version because of that battery, so it comes in at 850 grams without an iPad. That's compared to 581 grams for Apple's version. For what it's worth, I still prefer this one for everything else that it offers. So there we are, folks. Those are the best cases I could find for your iPad. And even though I've been modeling these using my iPad Pro and Mini, these brands all make cases for pretty much every variation of iPad. Now, if you are in the camp of people who like to occasionally swap out a laptop for an iPad, I recently made a full-blown desk setup that is just for iPad only. It's over here if you want to check it out. See you next time, folks.